Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth, and fancy seeing you here, and you are very welcome, my friends. Welcome to my room. Welcome to my world. Right, some people have been telling me some very exciting DCEU gossip. A Superman movie to be released on the same year as the Batman. A Superman movie to start production at the same time as the Batman goes into production. Apparently, Warner Brothers want both films to be released in the same year, and they want the kind of buzz of on-set footage at the same time as the Batman. This would be a great move by Walter Hamada. So if this is to be believed, and who knows anymore with sources, I don't know who to believe anymore, but you know, it doesn't mean they're bad people. They just sometimes come up with bad information, but let's hope this isn't. I think it would make a perfect sense in terms of marketing, having a Batman and Superman film released in the same year and produced in the same year as well. So when is the Batman going into production? Well, it's late this year, if I remember rightly. So that would make sense with Superman. So we need announcements. We need to find this out for sure. Of course, no one's talking about a Superman movie right now, but I do believe we will have a Superman movie released in 2021. I think that's when the Batman would be released. So that's a couple of years. That would make sense. It takes a couple of years to produce a movie and everything that goes with it. I absolutely hope this is true because we've waited so long. We had Man of Steel in 2013. We've had Batman v Superman in 2016. We had Justice League in 2017, which is definitely not a Superman movie, but at least we saw him. We didn't see him in a particularly great way with the upper lip nonsense and all that, but at least he was there. But if we can get a Superman movie out by 2021, I'll be very happy. Would I have rather have seen one earlier? Of course, but this is where we are. The things are changing, the dynamics are changing, the direction is changing. What was it that Gal Gadot said when she announced the film wouldn't be released till Wonder Woman 1984 wouldn't be released till 2020? It's very interesting. So next year we've got Birds of Prey, we've got Wonder Woman 1984. If we were to have the Batman and a Superman movie out in 2021, that would be massive for the DCEU, and it's something we'd all be very hyped and very excited about. As a Superman and Batman fan, that would be awesome. To me, that would be everything. Fingers crossed, everyone, that can happen, because so far we're on a bit of a good run at the DCU, aren't we? Excluding Justice League, you've got Aquaman has made $1 billion. Wonder Woman did really well and exceeded expectations, considering she came after Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad, which was very hard for the picture because there was a lot of negativity around those films. Again, I'll say I like those films, I love those films, but as far as the mainstream audience were concerned, there was an issue there. So Wonder Woman being successful was an awesome thing. Wonder Woman should always be successful because she's one of the top superheroes she is. So really, really excited. I hope my sources are correct. We want a Superman film out. It would make absolute sense. But who's going to play Superman? Because I'm still convinced I've got my ear to the ground, I'm still convinced it won't be Henry Cavill. If I'm wrong, I'll apologise to you. It's just my opinion. It's just the way I see things. Now, interestingly, I've got a bit of a sore throat again. I hate it when this happens. But anyway, interestingly, Amy Adams has signed a first look deal with HBO, which is really interesting. But, so we don't really know if she's ever going to play Lois Lane again. She said a few months back that she thought it was unlikely. Then she changed and said, well, who knows? Because obviously someone gave her a telling off for speaking out of turn. HBO is owned by Warner Brothers, don't forget. So this just could be more confirmation that she's going to be doing things with Warner Brothers, but probably the new stage of her career will be with HBO. So it is looking increasingly that the Superman part of the DCEU is going to retool itself. It's going to recast itself. How it does this within this universe, I don't know. But this won't be the first time a franchise recasts. Burton's Batman franchise, went from Michael Keaton to Val Kilmer to George Clooney. I love you, George, but you should never have been Batman, and you know that. So I think we're going to get a very big retooling. I think we'll get a really young Jimmy Olsen. We'll get a new Superman, a new Lois. I think we'll probably get a Lana as well, and even a Jonathan and Martha. It wouldn't surprise me if they retool this whole thing. How can they do that? I don't know. If they're going to retool so much, they're going to have to explain themselves. If they just retool in a few recasts like Superman, Lois Lane, introducing Jimmy Olsen, I think introducing Jimmy Olsen is important. I'm excited about the Supergirl movie. We haven't heard much else about that for a few months as well. I just feel that things are moving forward now. Walter Hamada has got his hands on this franchise, and the things he's implementing are working. What him and James Wan did with Aquaman, the retooling for that film, and that film was retooled really, really strongly, I can tell you that. Once Walter came in, obviously the buzz for Shazam is massive. We need to focus a lot more on Shazam on these videos now because we're so close. This is the DCEU film, the only DCEU film of 2019. It's a big one. It's an important one. Zachary Levi and David F. Sandberg have been fantastic in the marketing, so positive, talking to fans. Zach, as I said before, talking to people who suffer with depression and mental illness, trying to make them feel better about themselves. That has been absolutely fantastic to me, and I'm so excited going forward with the DCEU. I'm just thinking that things are moving so positive. There's very little negativity now surrounding the franchise. As I say, the build-up to Shazam has been near perfect. There's a few idiots complaining about the costume and the on-set pics at first. There was David F. Sandberg having to field complaints because the trailer hadn't come out, the second trailer hadn't come out. But these are silly little things. Mostly, it's been positive. It's been good. We're now over. We've got a big preview to look forward to on this digital release, which I can't get yet because I have to order my stuff through Amazon UK, and it's not on there yet. Looking full. I refuse to watch that full preview actually, and I can't do it on here because they'll just delete the video. So I would like to watch it with you, but when I do watch it in full, we can do a little review on it. Maybe that will be exciting, wouldn't it? I'm just so pumped for Shazam. And even though the Joker movie isn't DCEU, it's still DC. It's still important. We could get 2 massive wins this year. 90 million budget. So if Shazam, by some miracle, reaches $1 billion, which I doubt, but who knows these days, you know. I mean, you know, Captain Marvel's going to reach $1 billion, but, you know, that's part of a big IP. You know, it's before Endgame, so that's why that's doing it, because Captain Marvel is a very ordinary, average film. Doesn't mean it's bad. It's okay. But it's not a film that really deserves $1 billion, but it's probably going to get it. Who knows? It depends on this weekend. But let's not talk about her right now. Let's be positive. Let's talk about the DCEU. Basically, these small budgets. And these small budgets are really interesting me now because it's not just Shazam. It's Birds of Prey, a very small budget as well. Very interesting. The Joker movie, a very small budget. This is what Walter Hamada can do. Now, the small budgets mean less quality. No, absolutely not. And I'll sit anyone back down who says that. You can make a film for 90 to 100 million and it can be really good. I think we're losing the point now. We have a 250 million budget. Yeah, it must be good. Well, we've seen some films that have been made really expensively that have been underwhelming. Justice League had a big budget. Look how that ended up. Green Lantern, which I actually don't mind. I think it's an okay movie. And I still rewatch it all the time, especially the extended cut. But look what happened with that. It failed. So a big budget doesn't mean a great movie. There's been many films in the history of Hollywood that have made really big money, been really good, but their budget's been really low. So I think what Walter Hamada is doing really, of course, he's saving money for the company, but also he knows how to make good films. He's done it with the Conjuring franchise. This man has never made a bad film, been in charge of a bad franchise before. So I have absolute trust in this. So hopefully we get some confirmation that Superman movie will be released in 2021. and will go into production around the same time as the Batman goes into production. I think they're waiting to get their creatives, to get the director, to get the casting movie until they make big announcements. But I think we will hear something very soon. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll check you tomorrow for another DCEU Daily.